All right, so it looks like we got some pretty wild news here. It says January 6th committee unveils criminal referrals against Trump. Now, I'm not sure if this is unprecedented or not for like this committee, which doesn't hold any like legal power except for perjury is the only thing I think that they can get you on, like they got Steve Bannon on, but like otherwise they don't have any like legal power to do anything. Just a committee that's essentially investigating what happened on January 6th. But they have actually unveiled criminal referrals against Donald Trump. I'm not aware if this is like a precedent-setting move or not. I'm not sure. But what I'm certain for is this was unexpected. So it says the House Select Committee investigating the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol unveiled criminal referrals on Monday targeting former President Trump, recommending that the Department of Justice, the DOJ, investigate the ex-president for inciting an insurrection, conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to make a false statement, and obstruction of an official proceeding. So obviously you got 4 charges there, right? So one of them for inciting and getting people to do the insurrection via his words and stuff he said. The conspiracy, so like plotting to defraud the U.S., plotting to do something illegal in terms of a false statement and obstruction of an official proceeding. This has to do with the fake elector scam plan. The plan was to submit like this fake slate of electors, and then Vice President Pence was going to use his constitutional only ceremonial power. The Vice President only has the ceremonial power to just read out the electors. That's all he has the power to. But they were trying to get it so that they would submit a fake slate, and then Pence would he would recognize the fake slate over the real ones. Or it was like submit the fake slates and then make it so that there's like enough doubt between the two so that it would end up going to like the state legislatures, because neither Biden or Trump would have a majority. So there was a lot of these like legal plans basically to just break the law pretty much. It says the referrals marked the culmination of the committee's 18th-month probe of the January 6th attack and the role Trump played before, during, and after the riot. They are a crescendo in the panel's central case that Trump was at the center of a conspiracy to keep himself in power. Investigators on the committee said they decided on criminal referrals against Trump based on sufficient evidence showing that he violated various statutes. If you don't know what a statute is a law passed by Congress as opposed to executive law, which is like an executive order, like for example the Muslim ban, versus case law or common law, which is like Roe versus Wade, law made by this courts, mostly the Supreme Court, right? Miranda, for example, right? That was turned into a law, etc. So it says inciting, assisting, or aiding and comforting an insurrection, obstructing an official proceeding, conspiracy to defraud the U.S., conspiracy to make a false statement. Trump campaign attorney John Eastman, who crafted 2 memos for the campaign outlining methods to stop the certification of the election results, was also referred for obstruction of an official proceeding and conspiracy to defraud the United States. This is a little bit off topic, but I was learning about like the torture memos and the path to torture in my U.S. presidency class, and this sounds kind of similar to John Yoo. If you don't know who John Yoo is, he's like a constitutional lawyer who was basically advising the George W. Bush presidency that he didn't have to abide by the Geneva Conventions and could just torture people suspected of terror as much as they wanted. Basically, sounds very similar. We propose to the committee advancing referrals where the gravity of the specific offense, the severity of its actual harm, and the centrality of the offender to the overall design of the unlawful scheme to overthrow the election compel us to speak. Representative Jamie Raskin, a member of the panel, said at Monday's meeting, quote, "Ours is not a system of justice where foot soldiers go to jail and the masterminds and ringleaders get a free pass." It says the recommendations themselves, however, are largely symbolic, as the DOJ is not required to look into referrals from congressional committees. They also come as the agency is conducting its own investigation into the Capitol riot that was recently put under the purview of an independent special counsel. So remember that Merrick Garland has appointed an independent special counsel to deal with this whole situation. And so this is symbolic that this is happening. However, this is certainly massive. Even if like the fact that the DOJ is not compelled to actually look at the referrals, it doesn't effing matter. Just the fact that this committee made these criminal referrals against a previously sitting president of the United States is absolutely massive and absolutely precedent setting in terms of literally using this and trying to. I think some of these statutes are like Civil War, post-Civil War era statutes as well, like the the insurrection ones and those kinds of things. I think some of those statutes are Civil War era statutes. So no doubt this is absolutely massive, even though yes, it is symbolic in that it doesn't hold like direct power. However, it's a lot of power in what it's doing in terms of like symbolism, and wow, like that's a really big deal. So this is absolutely a huge deal no matter how you look at it. It says, but the referrals nonetheless mark a significant escalation in the political fight between the committee and Trump, especially as the former president wages his third bid for the White House. The Justice Department now had to decide whether it wants to pursue any prosecution based on the panel's recommendations. It is unclear how the agency will proceed. So this is a pretty big one, actually. This is also another big part. It says Representative Benny Thompson, the chairman of the committee, said he is confident the Justice Department will charge Trump. Quote, I'm convinced that now that our committee has released our information, they will take the information that we've shared with them and proceed with investigation, Thompson told CNN in an interview following Monday's meeting. Quote, I have no doubt that once the investigation proceeds and is concluded, if the evidence is as we presented it, I'm convinced the Justice Department will charge former President Trump. No one, including a former president, is above the law, he added. And so there's a bunch more information that goes on here. But, this is another news article about the Benny Thompson quotes as January 6th chair convinced DOJ will charge Trump. So this is a big deal because this is much more this is much stronger language than we had heard previously, and so much so that we can check out this old article that was 6 months ago, and says Democrats pressured January 6th panel to pursue criminal referrals of Trump. And at the time, it was basically it was leaning towards it wasn't actually going to happen, and so Democrats were actually pushing them to issue these criminal referrals. However, the people sitting on the committee were like, it's probably not going to happen. So this is the issue of criminal referrals was thrust into the spotlight on Monday following the House Select Committee's second public hearing when Chairman Benny Thompson said the panel would not be issuing formal referrals to the DOJ. No, that's not our job, he told reporters. Our job is to look at the facts and circumstances around January 6th, what caused it, and make recommendations after that. The comments caught the attention of some other leading figures on the committee, most notably Representative Liz Cheney, the vice chair, who made clear that the question of referrals remains unresolved. And so what you can see is it was literally Benny Thompson was saying that they weren't even going to be issuing the formal referrals. So clearly this is a shift in terms of strength, in terms of boldness, of coming out and be like, no, we're finna, issue these criminal referrals, we're going to issue these. So this is a big step in that direction. And I think that the January 6th committee was really, really successful in really all the information that came out. I think we take for granted all of the actual facts and the text messages. And I was just reading through just the Wikipedia page of the fake elector scheme. And man, it almost sounds like it's came out of a movie, all the stuff that was going, John Eastman had this plan, and we're gonna put these fake electors in. There was Rick Perry who was giving this advice and all this stuff. It's fucking insane, man. What happened? It's crazy that there was this legitimate attempt to defraud the United States election. It's absolutely insane, and all of the valuable information that we got from this committee's investigations, the text messages, the emails, the information, it's all proof where you actually have the hard proof, and so people can't deny any of this stuff. So I think it was a huge success. I mean, surely it could have been a bigger success, but I think that's more so just to do with partisanship preventing people from paying attention or believing it, for example, right? But here's another one too. It says McConnell on January 6th criminal referral of Trump, quote, entire nation knows who is responsible for that day. And so it's a Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, oh, I love saying Senate Minority Leader, on Monday issued a terse response to the House January 6th Select Committee's decision to refer criminal charges against former President Trump to the Justice Department. Quote, the entire nation knows who is responsible for that day. Beyond that, I don't have any immediate observations, McConnell said in a statement reacting to the House panel voting to refer 4 criminal charges against Trump to prosecutors in connection to his role in the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol. So, again, he's still too, scared to say his name, which is what the Republican Party seems to be afraid of. They seem to be afraid of actually saying his name, but even McConnell is basically coming out and saying this. So this is a big deal. Is this actually going to end up in Trump being charged for any of the January 6th stuff? I'm not really sure, to be completely honest with you. I don't really know. I hope he is. I hope he's charged to the fullest letter of the law, absolutely 100%. And this is definitely a move in the right direction, and the stronger they come out, the better. The more investigation that they do, the more that they put out the evidence, say they did the work for the DOJ, like, hey, here's all the evidence, we did the investigations, we got it, now you just have to go and charge them, right? We did the discovery for you. So this is really cool, and hopefully we will see even more come out of this.